commitments made. The team of the president-elect has stated that it will reveal the names of its donors and will not accept money from individuals from other countries. However, it is not legally obligated to follow through with these commitments. As a result of the reluctance of the team of President-elect Donald J. Trump to sign a transition agreement with the General Services Administration, the team is not legally obligated to follow through on its commitments, despite the fact that it has pledged to adhere to certain transparency conventions of presidential handovers. During presidential transitions, a set of laws and norms are adhered to. These laws and conventions allow the government that is leaving to provide incoming authorities with information that is not publicly available and to provide funding for transition operations. After foregoing the $7.2 million in government funding that the GSA would have offered if they had struck an agreement, the transition team for Mr. Trump has pledged to be transparent by releasing the names of its donors and has stated that it will not take donations from individuals who are not citizens of the United States. An ethics commitment was also made public by the transition team as part of an agreement with the White House. However, it is possible that the promise does not comply with the guidelines that govern the transition. This week, the transition team for Mr. Trump issued a statement in which they stated that the decision to choose for private funding rather public funding will save the government money. On the other hand, the Trump campaign did not provide any indication regarding when the identities of donors will be made public or whether the sums of their donations would likewise be disclosed. In the event that Mr. Trump's team decided to accept assistance from the GSA, donors would be required to be reported within 30 days of the inauguration, which is scheduled to take place on January 20th. A limit of $5,000 per individual contribution has been imposed during previous presidential transitions, but Mr. Trump's campaign has not committed to adhering to this restriction. In addition to this, the GSA would have made available safe channels of communication and office space for the purpose of holding internal gatherings. This week, Mr. Trump's team signed an agreement with the White House that marks the beginning of formal briefings that will be led by departing members of the government. This comes after the team first missed a deadline on October 1st. There has been no change in Mr. Trump's stance about his refusal to sign an agreement with the Justice Department that would enable the Federal Bureau of Investigation to conduct security checks on transition staff. In the absence of clearances, officials from the Biden administration are unable to disclose secret information to a significant number of members of the transition team. An ethics strategy for Mr. Trump's transition staff was included in the publication that took place this week. The plan may be in violation of the Presidential Transition Act, which requires that such plans outline how a president-elect himself will manage his personal conflicts of interest. Despite the fact that the plan was accepted by the staff of President Biden in their agreement with Mr. Trump, the plan may be in violation of the law. It does not appear like Mr. Trump's approach will do that. Requests for comment were not immediately met with a response from representatives of the Trump transition team or the White House. During the statement that was released on Tuesday regarding the agreement with the White House, Susie Wiles, who is going to be Mr. Trump's chief of staff, said, "This engagement allows our intended cabinet nominees to begin critical preparations, including the deployment of landing teams to every department and agency, and complete the orderly transition of power."